Hello, y'all. Welcome to another great episode of Late Night Podcast with Bridget and Holly. I'm your host, Holly.
And I'm your host, Bridget.
And tonight, y'all, we have a very interesting topic we're going to go over, and it's called Jobs We Could Never Do. And this is going to go over how hard the job is, to if it's nasty, you can't stomach it, or you just ain't doing that. And we're going to start off with Bridget and see what she has for jobs that she can never do.
Okay, so the first one I put down was a construction worker because, bitch, I'm fat. Ain't no way in hell I can be out there lifting and bending and stooping and rolling and, well, wait, tuck and roll I can do. Okay, tuck and
Tuck
roll
and
I
roll.
can do. But the other bending, stooping, and all that I can't do. So construction worker, my hat goes off to you guys out there lifting and bending and doing all that stuff. Cause no, I can't do that job.
Me, I got that on my list. I'm the same way because I'm not. I can't. Again, I'm a big girl, and I'm not gonna get out there and sweat my ass off in 150 degrees weather, building somebody's house that ain't mine. So,
Yeah.
um,
We just ain't built for that, are we? Just ain't built for
no.
that.
I don't want
Mm-mm.
my delicate hands having calluses on. um, I would not want to be a janitor or a maid, and I'm gonna tell you why. I clean up my own house, and I'm okay with that. But I'm not gonna clean up a stranger's piss and shit or vomit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna do that, and I'm not gonna take out somebody's nasty, smelly trash or scrub somebody's moldy, shit stained toilet. Like, no. Um, I will clean my own toilets here, but no, I'm not going to a stranger's house and doing none of that because not everybody lives the same. And I know how clean I like to be and how thorough that I am. I don't want to open somebody's refrigerator and 10,000 fruit flies come attacking me.
Oh yeah. Oh Lord. I kind of
No.
agree with you there. I don't have that on my list, but I agree with you there. Okay. So another one I could never do is be a nurse. I cannot be a nurse. I don't have the patience to take care of people. I'd be looking at somebody like if they were like laying in the bed and I would shut the fuck up, get up, and let's go. Quit whining. I ain't putting up with that. My husband would tell you when he goes for surgeries or he's down and out, he's got 2 days. You got 2 days to get your shit together and recover. After those 2 days, I will wait on you hand and foot. I will be gentle. I will be kind. But day three, get your fucking ass up. You can do better than this. I don't have the patience for it. I do not. No
Mine
nurse
would
for me.
be that I wouldn't have the stomach for it because I'm terrified of needles, so I could never be a phlebotomist either. But I wouldn't be able to draw blood. I wouldn't be able to be there and hold the little pan while you're throwing up, and
Oh yeah.
mine will be definitely couldn't stomach it. Um,
Uh.
I could not be a septic tank worker. I am
I got
not
that down
going.
there.
You got that one down.
I
I
got septic.
am.
I got septic tank worker or porta potty cleaner.
Yes, I'm not going to your house, digging up your ground and pumping your
Mm-mm.
shit out that's been building up for 30 years and sit there and smell it. I ain't gonna be like on the Griswold family Christmas where he's like, Clark, your shitter's full, and he's out there happily, pumping the septic tank.
Uh
Not
huh.
not doing it. It's nasty.
You ever seen? Have you ever seen that be done?
Yes, because it's so funny. Because probably about 2 years ago, because we're not on town sewage. We have our own septic tank.
Me too.
And way back in the day, like when I was little, like probably 6 or 7, because of where these houses are built, this used to be swamp land down here. So our grass holds a lot of water, and it can be bad for your septic tank. And my mom, quite a few times, would have to get it pumped out. And then 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, we were having massive rain, and oh my god, it started backing up to the tub. We'd wash clothes and you could see it bubble, the suds bubbling out of the ground and all that. And I was like, yep, we got to get the septic tank pumped, which is why we don't flush toilet paper down our toilet because of that. Because that was one of the things they said, oh, you don't need to flush toilet paper down your septic line, because it can clog it and da 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 da
What
da.
What do you do with the toilet paper?
We have a trash can in there with a lid, and we dump it like before it barely gets full.
Ooh.
hmm
Now I have a septic tank, but I do flush toilet paper. But I do think you need to get toilet paper that dissolves fast. But now we we were a family of we had 4 kids and then me and Ronnie. So we were a family of 6 for a long time, and being a family of 6, we would have to get the septic tank pumped every 3 to 4 years. But now with it just being me and Ronnie, we were able to go from like I just had it pumped this year, but a couple months ago. But we're generally we can go like now we can go about 6 to 8 years. So, but you kind of know, like you said, your water will start draining slower. But the
Yeah.
guy came out here, and I actually find it interesting, although I couldn't do it. I know that it's my shit and my husband's shit out there. So I like to go out there and watch them take the lid off. And when they take the lid off, you'll see that shit just packed to the damn lid
Ain't that
and
crazy?
stink. Oh, it
Oh,
stinks. But
and
as far
then
as like they'll stick the hose down in there and they'll just play in it and get it all broke up and everything. And
yes,
they act like it ain't nothing. They act like
uh,
it ain't nothing to
did
it.
it don't even bother. Now I will tell you, right? Lately we have went. I've always used Charmin because it's your honey's clean. That is hell on a septic tank. So now we use Angel Soft. So now we're able to flush the Angel Soft, and that goes down fine. We still
Mm-hmm.
do the trash can occasionally, but that's just recently that we started doing Angel Soft to where we can actually flush it and it doesn't mess
Yep.
anything up.
Yeah, there was a girl who did a thing. I know we're kind of getting off topic, but she did a thing because she wanted to know which one was best for a septic tank. So she took mason jars and filled them up with water and put Scott tissue in one, Charmin in one, Angel Soft in one. What's some other names of it? Anyhow, she had several tissue papers there. And I do remember that the Angel Soft broke up faster than even the Scott tissue paper, and it's thinner.
Yeah,
So we use Angel Soft. That's something that changed for us when the pandemic hit and we went through the whole toilet paper outage crisis.
that's about
We
when it
used to
changed
use,
for us too. Was when
yeah,
we switched actually to Angel Soft. Yeah,
yep, I used to use Scott's all the time, and you couldn't get a hold of that. So we switched to Angel Soft, and it just stuck. I ended up liking it better because Scott's has went to that. It's one ply. It's just one little thin ply, and you have to use
yeah,
so much of it that I just went away from it. But that's interesting. But I too would never be a septic tank or porta potty cleaner. The porta
yeah.
potties, I can't stand to even go in them and use them, much less
Mm.
clean them.
I've never used one, and I won't. I will shit on myself before I go into a porta potty. I
Ooh.
will, and I have.
And I have. I just go, oh, I'd rather just shit myself. Now, this is something that's interesting that you may not know about me. That I'm going to get canceled when I tell you this. Okay. People are going to be like, oh my God, you're so da 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 da. I could never be a daycare worker or school teacher because, in general, I don't like little kids. I do not care for little kids. If they're kin to me, I tolerate them, yes, and I love them. If they're related to me, that's different. But in general, I don't care for little kids. I think they're noisy, they're bratty, they don't listen. Just tons and tons of things about it that I could never be a daycare worker or a school teacher,
Right.
young school teacher. 12 and up. I like maybe 10 and up, 12 and up. Those are my good ages. I love those ages.
But there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, but and it's also it has a lot to do with some parenting styles are different than how they used to be back then. You kind of see kids, excuse me for saying this, but you kind of see some kids just running amok and running through your house and just taking and saying, "Oh, look at that vase," and we'll knock it on the floor. We were
Mhm.
raised to where we bring you to somebody else's house, you touch nothing. You do not jump on the couch, on any of the furniture. You sit your
Mhm.
ass down and you be quiet and you play nice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I understand that.
Well, and like you said,
Um,
I think too I can tolerate a well-behaved child, toddler and child better than I can a
yeah,
unwell behaved. And when they're
yeah,
not mine, I think that's my thing. When they're not mine, I've only got so much control over them. When they're mine,
exactly.
I can make them mind. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Mhm.
Another one I have, I could not be like on the roadkill crew. I cannot. It hurts my heart just to ride down the road and see a dead deer on the side, even a possum. Like you can ask anybody that rides with me, especially my daughter. I am the bitch that will break for birds and squirrels, and I get picked at so much because I never want to see an animal die or dead. And you
Mhm.
remember Bridget, I told you when I was going down the country road and this car came down the road and they hit a red bird and they hit it and they flew it onto my car where it hit my rearview mirror. And I was like, I even turned around and I could not find that bird. So I don't know if it lived, if it died or what. It was a hard smack. But not only do I not want to see them, you know, dead on the side of the road, I also, again, couldn't stomach it because every time I ride by a dead dog or a dead cat or a dead deer, it's like I'm about to hurl because 9 out of 10 times it's fresh on the road and I'm like, oh God, but I couldn't do that.
Yeah, has a bad odor. I agree. I think that'd
Yes.
be one hard for me too. So this one might surprise you, and I'm proud of my daughter for doing it. But I could never be a vet or a vet tech. Um,
Mm-mm.
because there's a lot like her having to euthanize animals, and she'll tell you there's sometimes that, like you said, that things can be prevented, or it's neglect or abuse. And I think I'd end up cussing somebody out. That if somebody come in there like we just talked about in a recent podcast, if somebody animal died of heartworm disease when they could have easily got the prevention and they didn't,
Yeah.
I'm the type that I would have to say something. I'd be like, this could have been prevented. This is your damn fault.
Oh
Another
yeah.
thing is she'll tell you that people are very bad for not going back with their animals when they're being put down, or they, they may have a surgery that's needed and they'll be like she told me just recently this week, she said somebody called in and everything they described sounded like a foreign object obstruction. Like the bowels were
Oh
blocked.
wow.
And she told me, she said, "You really need to get in here." And she goes, "Well, I can't get off work." And she goes, "Well, I'm just telling you, you really need to get in here." She said, "Well, when's your next appointment on a Saturday?" And and my daughter looked out and she said, "Not till after Thanksgiving." She said, "Well, just put them on that schedule." She was willing to let her animal sit there from now with an obstruction till the end of Thanksgiving. And Brittany says, "Well,
Wow.
ma'am, I'm going to put you on the list." She said, "But if it's truly an obstruction, which it sounds like, I can't diagnose it over the phone, but it sounds like," she said, "your animal might not be here after Thanksgiving." She said, "Well, it'll have to be what it is." Right then, I would have
Oh
cussed somebody
hell
out.
no.
I
Mm-mm.
would have cussed somebody out. I'd have been like, fuck this. So I could never be a vet or vet tech because I think it requires, like, I'm very proud of her for doing it, but it requires a lot of mental restraints and a
Yeah.
lot of mental strength. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
there's some people that don't take care of their animals like we do.
Oh yeah. I don't have that on my list, but I couldn't either. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
the heart to put an animal down. Um, I'm like you. I would go off on somebody and cuss them out because a lot of stuff that happens to pets can be prevented. I'd say about
Mhm.
80% of it can be prevented. They just want to be
Mhm.
irresponsible.
Mhm.
um, I could never be a mortician. Now, I love talking about paranormal stuff. I love spirits. I believe in spirits and stuff like that, ghosts and all that. But I could not sit there and work on Sally Sue, who had a hammer through her head, and I got to make her look beautiful. I
Yeah.
is too creepy. And then when you're working on them, you can see them breathe sometimes. Their
Mhm.
arms will move. No, I'd be running out screaming and be like, kiss my ass, find somebody else. I couldn't do
Mhm.
it.
I agree with you. I have that on my list. I do have a mortician on my list, and I said I'd be way too freaked out. But there
Yeah.
are a lot of morticians that I've seen work at night. That's when they do a lot of their work is at night. And
Mm,
could you imagine being by yourself in there with
yes.
dead bodies, and you're just sitting there listening to music and painting on their face and all, and getting them all ready like, no, bro, I'm good for that. Now,
Yep.
what's interesting is my best friend's husband's brother used to do that job, and we would ask him all kinds of stuff. We would ask him stuff about, how that was and how he did this, and this, and he would laugh
Yeah.
at us because we would have some weird questions. Um, but yeah, I could never do that job either.
Mm-mm.
So another one on my list, and this one is would probably one I doubt you would think of, but I could never be a defense attorney. Now, I would love to be an attorney, but I couldn't be a defense attorney because to me, let's say you had somebody come up for child support and I have to defend them for not paying for their child for the last two
Yep.
years. They ain't no defense for you, son. You know what I'm saying? You should
Uh-uh.
be paying for your kid. Or if I'm listening to that person say that they didn't kill somebody, but all the evidence shows that they did, but they're saying they
Right.
didn't. I can't stand up there knowing this family's over there grieving because he killed their family, and I'm sitting here having to defend him. I think a defense attorney and a used car salesman are right on the same level.
Yes,
I
they
can't.
are.
I don't like that. I don't like
Mm-mm.
that. I couldn't do
I
it.
I've always said that too, that I couldn't be a defense attorney because they say everybody deserves a lawyer. But I'm sorry, like I don't even understand why there are defense attorneys because you you just murdered 10 people, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna sit here and be your lawyer and say, yep, 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 it was just all mental, he don't deserve death row, and he'll be okay. Put him in rehab and then just throw him back out into society. Fuck you, no.
Yeah.
And I
Exactly.
think that goes in hand too with like being a judge,
Yeah.
because I mean I could sentence people, but then you got to worry about these people breaking out of jail or getting out of jail and coming after you. I've seen too many Datelines, 2020s, and 48-hour mysteries where a judge has got killed because they put somebody's ass in jail, and when they get out, guess what? They coming after you because
They're
you
coming
put them
for
in
them.
jail. Um, but I also, I know this is gonna sound weird, but I could not be a dentist. Now,
Mm.
the reason I could not be a dentist is I know how my teeth look. Are they
Uh-huh.
perfectly straight? No. But are they clean and plaque free?
Hmm.
Yes. I wouldn't be digging in somebody's mouth who's got like 10 pounds of tartar built up and rotted teeth and stanky breath, and I couldn't stomach it. First of all, again, as y'all can tell, in this list we're going over, I have a very, very weak stomach. Like
Hmm.
there's so much that I can't watch or even talk about because my stomach is so sensitive. But I'm not working on somebody's nasty mouth. I don't even think I could
Hmm.
do it if it was a clean mouth, because you're everybody of course does have a tiny bit of plaque, but I don't want to sit there and go through your teeth and pick out. Oh, can't do it.
That would be so. If you can't be the dentist, then you can't be the hygienist either.
Oh God, no.
They're
I
the
couldn't
ones
be
that
a
get in there and
dentist or a
clean all that
hygienist.
stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. The dentist just comes in and is like, "Oh, she did a good job. Now let's look and see how healthy your teeth really are."
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So I agree. I mean, I'm like you. I'm funny with that with messing with other people. Period. Like a
Yeah.
massage therapist or anything where you're having to touch on somebody else's body. If they're clean, I could probably do it. But could you imagine being a massage therapist and have somebody come lay down on your table and ain't washed their ass in 2 weeks?
Ugh,
You know
and
what I'm
they
saying?
like
And you
reaching
smell
a
shit the whole
sweat.
the whole the whole time. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Oh. I bet, bitch, let me
Okay,
hose you
so
off before you get a massage. Here's you a bar of
yeah,
soap, and I'm just gonna hose and you wash.
exactly. So another job I could never do is something my husband does. So now I've named something my daughter does, something my husband does as a truck driver. I'm not good at driving long distances. When we take off and go to Florida, I have to stop halfway down and sleep and give my feet a rest because I have restless leg syndrome.
Right.
I think it's a lonely job. I think it's a boring job. I think it can be a stressful job with traffic and everything because just getting out there and riding around in everyday traffic. Brittany says I become somebody different behind the wheel because I am cussing everybody out. Like y'all see me being sweet, kind, and generous. Put me behind the wheel of the car and everybody's a motherfucker. Motherfucker, get out of my damn way. So I can never be a truck driver.
I don't think I could either, too, because there's a lot, which some trucks I know are equipped pretty good with like beds and where they could cook and stuff like that. But I'm like you, like it will be lonely, boring. It's a lot of fast food eating. It's the weather elements. So I'm with you on that. I couldn't do that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I could not be would be, and this is kudos and mad respect for a cop. My dad was a cop. He was a chief of police. He was a lieutenant or whichever is higher, a lieutenant or a sergeant was what he was at the prison. My uncle was a judge, uncle was a mayor. But I could not be a cop because there's so many crazy people out there. You're risking your life
Mm-hmm.
every day because
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what you're walking into. But I have so much respect for a cop, and I admire them because they're out there doing their job and keeping us safe. But I couldn't do it because my fear wouldn't let me do it. I wouldn't be able to set
Right.
my fear aside because I would be worried every single call. God, is this going to be the day? What if we got somebody in there who's shooting up a house or something like that? So I could never be a
Yeah.
cop.
Yeah. I agree. I think cops, especially nowadays, they face so much and they face so much criticism and
They do.
condemnation and stuff like that and really they're the heroes of society because they're the ones that keep things in line for us.
Right.
So I agree with you on that one. So another one I could not be is a crime scene cleanup crew. I could not be on the crime scene cleanup crew.
Nope.
So, I don't think I could stomach that. So you go in and somebody's actually had their brains shot out and you got to shovel brains up
Right.
off the floor. And the thing is, it's not like it just happened. If it's a crime scene, it could be, who knows, it could be a week old or 2 weeks old or 3 weeks old. But you got to go in there and clean that mess up. Ugh,
Yeah.
ugh. I could,
You got to get a
I
little
couldn't do
chisel
it.
and hammer that, piece of that left brain off the wall that's been there for a month. I got that on my list too, and I could not do that.
No.
No. Um, Another one that I got, I could not be an Uber driver. And the only reason I say that, and this goes back again to all the Dateline 2020s and 48-hour mysteries that I've watched. You're an Uber driver and you're letting all these strangers in your car. You,
True.
what if you got somebody who is getting in and they pull a knife or a gun on you? You got
Mm-hmm.
somebody who just comes in and they're just batshit crazy, and try and
Mm-hmm.
hold you hostage and stuff like that. And then you got where there's Uber drivers where they'll take somebody somewhere and they'll get out the car and they don't even pay them. Like to me, being an
Mm-hmm.
Uber driver is very scary. I couldn't do it.
It's dangerous. It is dangerous.
It
You know what I'm
is.
saying? I agree with you on that. I don't think you've named one that I hadn't agreed with. That's for
I don't
sure.
think I have
Now
either,
this one
neither
might
have you.
surprise. This one might surprise you, but I could not be a photographer.
Really?
Mm-mm. Especially photographers that do family photos or wedding photos, and you're
Hmm.
trying to get everybody lined up and make sure they have this, and here this kid over is picking its nose. You're like, don't pick your nose, and this and over here. You need to fix your collar. I don't have the patience for that.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, if I'm a photographer, like I'm shooting like scenes, you know what I'm saying, like a winter scene or fall scene or scenery, I could probably be a scenery photographer, but a people photographer, I could not do it. Mm-mm, I don't have the
And
patience for it, especially small. Yeah, I got like small kids.
it's funny that you said that because, like, I think that runs in our family a little bit because me and my brother really have a knack for taking pictures. And my
Uh
dad,
huh.
I think that's who we got it from because he used to have a whole what is it a green room or a black room, red room or whatever. I think it's a red room, ain't it? And so I think we did inherit that from him. Now, my brother all of his pictures are pretty much scenery, and that's what I am. Can I take a good selfie? Yes. Or if you say, "Hey, Holly, take a picture of me and Mr. Ronnie," could I do a good job? Yes. But I'm like you. I'm more of I want to take pictures of the scenery, like let a good storm roll in and it's dark clouds and pictures of
Yeah,
it lightning and Niagara Falls and you see the rainbow effect. And so I'm with you on that. I don't think I would want to be that person to go around snapping pictures of people, but put me on a scenery job, I'm on it. I am on it.
right.
um I could one of the jobs that I have down too is I could never be a medical examiner. I
Really?
wouldn't want to do that because here you are cutting into a body again, weak stomach, but you're having to take out, the heart, the liver, the kidneys, and
Yeah,
I mean you're going through their body with a fine tooth comb to see how they
yeah.
died or to preserve their organs because they're an organ donor, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't be a medical examiner. Mm-mm.
I agree. I think you're right on that. I couldn't either. Mm-mm. I could never be a used car salesman. Again, I put them on the same level as a defense attorney. I just don't think used car salesmen have very much of a moral compass. Now, I will say there might be a few out there. You got the rule and the exception. The rule is they're not. The exception is you might have somebody out here who's genuinely they're a used car salesman, but they're honest. But 9 times out of 10, if they know something's wrong with that car, they are not going to tell you
Nope.
because they
No,
want you
my
to buy it. So they'll let you drive off in a piece of crap and not think two things about it as long as they get a paycheck. Um, so I just couldn't be a used car sale. I think car salesmen in general are pushy, but I think a used car salesman is the worst because they know stuff's wrong with the vehicle or they're trying to sell you something they know you really is not that good or sound of a
yeah.
vehicle. So I just couldn't be a used car salesman.
I'm with you on that because I will say I have worked, in where I'm at now is a retail job, and I've had quite a few jobs where I was required to do sales. And I couldn't be a used cars a car dealership because I wouldn't feel right in my heart sending a family of four off in a freaking lemon that had been wrecked and the motor's going to go out 2 months after you get it, or the brake pads
Right.
are squeaky. I'm very good at selling, and everybody always tells me, "Oh my God, you need to work at a car lot because you will make awesome money." Now, a new car lot I could do because it's a brand new
Yeah.
car, but used,
Yeah.
no, because used Lord, I don't know what's wrong with me tonight. Used carsmen, however you want to say it. Um,
She's like, a
I
job I couldn't do as a podcaster because I can't get my words right.
yes, God, you ain't lying about that. But I wouldn't have the heart to lie through my teeth like that. It would have to be
Yeah,
brand new cars, not used at all. And I
I
actually
agree.
have that
I
on my
agree.
list too, by the way.
Do
Used car
you?
dealership. Yeah. Um,
Okay.
Another one I can never do pest control. Reason being is I hate bugs. I hate any and every bug. I hate spiders. I hate roaches. I hate stink bugs. I can deal with a ladybug. I don't like hornets and bees and Um, I also don't like squirrel. Like I can look at a squirrel, but I want to go to somebody's house and get a raccoon or a hornet's nest that's up in your attic and they're gonna attack you, or you got five snakes floating around up under your house and you got rat problems. I just not keep anything that comes to bugs and rodents away from me, which is why I'm going to take a minute to say make sure every 6 months, okay, that you get pest control to spray the outside, inside of your house. And you won't have to worry about little creepy crawlers, okay?
I thought he was going to say something. Well, so in other words, when you come to visit us, are you going to hold Brittany's rats?
Now, I saw the one rat and it was cute, and I have held guinea pigs and hamsters. So if it doesn't bite, I
Hmm.
probably will. So I can actually say I held a rat. So yeah.
Yeah, they don't bite. They're super sweet. They are super
Uh,
sweet.
I know
I
JoJo
actually
wants to
love
hold them
them.
next time we come.
I kiss all over them, and Ronnie's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they're kissing on them." But they're not like
Oh,
out in the. They're. I think rats that carry diseases are out kind of in the wild. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And they're getting in the
exactly.
trash and all this.
And they're
But they're
eating
a very
like
controlled
food food. They're
environment.
not just eating leftover shit that's been sitting in the sewer, on the
Yeah.
side of the streets for the last like 3 months.
Yeah. Exactly.
Did
Exactly.
my screen black out?
It does. It keeps doing that.
Okay, sorry. I know we're in the middle of the podcast. My thing come on. I didn't even look at my charge, and it said you're on 10%.
Oh, okay. Okay. So another one I could not do is a scuba diver. Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah, scuba diver, because honestly, my main reason for that is I'm just too fat, and if you put me in a black suit, I'm gonna become a whale or a dolphin. They're gonna be trying to hunt me and confuse it, and they try to have sex with me, and I just ain't into the whale humping. So I'm gonna pass on the scuba diver
you act like you
trick.
so big that they gonna harpoon your ass.
They are.
And
They
she's
probably
tiny,
would.
y'all. She is tiny.
No, 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 no,
Oh
no,
God.
no, no.
I agree with you on the
No.
scuba diver, but I can't swim and I'm terrified of anything getting in water that is taller than me. I can get in
Uh
about
huh.
5.5 feet of water and comfortably be okay. But this bitch over here cannot swim. But now
Yeah,
she's got some meat on her, so I can float. And they say if
you
you can
float.
back float, you can swim, but I can't.
Yeah,
I
I
can't.
can. I can float good too.
Um. So my last one. This is the last one that I've got. I I could never be a grave digger, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Great. Yeah, tell me. Do tell.
First of all, that's a lot of fucking work. And you out there
Uh-huh.
shoveling and shoveling and shoveling and shoveling. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm not equipped to get out
Bitch.
there and do that. And,
Bitch.
huh?
They don't dig graves that way anymore. They're doing it with backhoes.
Well, now they do. That is true. I wasn't thinking about. I'm thinking about the old days where they out there digging with the shovels and stuff. But not only that, but it will mess with me mentally because I know what I'm digging. I'm digging
Mm-hmm.
somebody's grave. Somebody has died and they're going to be buried. And that's only because, like, I have such a fear of death, which, we've talked about
Uh-huh.
so many times, that mentally it will mess me up because, you ain't just digging one grave once a week. You out there digging 2 and 3 times, probably in a day and every single day of the week. But I couldn't do it because and I'm the nosy person where I would want to know if it was a male or a female. I'd want to know how old they were. I would want to know why they died and how they died. And if they died from heart disease, I would want to know, well, did they have any heart, or like if they died from a heart attack, I'd want to know, did they have heart disease? And then if they would be like,
Uh-huh.
no, they just had a heart attack, then I'm like, oh my God, like it mentally would mess me up so bad.
Right. I see that. could see that.
Yeah.
I could never be an athletic trainer. Exhibit A.
Exhibit B. Oh
I
my
could never do
god.
athletic training. That's
Oh
all we
my
need to
god.
say about that one.
I
And
know,
then
right? Put
also,
the ho hos and
also,
donuts down.
yeah, I got two more. I could never be an elephant crap catcher. Because they're down at the zoo.
Ooh.
You got people behind the elephants scooping up their shit.
Oh, and the
Can you?
shit
Because
is so
elephants make it
huge.
big, big.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't do
Bigger
that.
than my ass, and I
And
got a big
last but
ass.
no, and last but not least, I could never be a podiatrist.
Oh my god. I actually was gonna write down a podiatrist. I was
Mm-mm.
gonna write a podiatrist down. I was like, cause that's feet. And
Yeah,
I'm
that I
like,
ain't
I'm
fucking
not
nobody's
fucking with
feet.
nobody's feet. I'm not cutting your crusty ass toenails and get popped in the eye. I
Mm-mm.
ain't going down like
Mm-mm.
that.
Mm-mm. Me either. Me either. So, with us going through the jobs we could never do, I want to ask you, what is the job you always wished you could grow up and do? What was the job you dreamed of as a kid or a young adult? And because I know it wasn't a sex shop operator.
No.
You actually wanted to do something else. So, what was that?
I'll be honest with you. There's two things. The one thing that I always wanted to do was be a big time executive and have a huge office on the highest top building floor running a company. That was from watching
Okay.
the movie Working Girl. But
Okay.
now I would have to say, for me, honestly, is being a social media influencer, because
Hmm.
I want to help people, make people laugh, and things like that. Social media influencer has always played a big part of my life. It's just something I've always wanted to do, and to be
Right.
able to connect with so many different people around the world and make all these, new friends and meet all these interesting people. That's always been the one thing now that I've always wanted to do that I'm actually working on. What about you?
Right. So I've always wanted to be a private investigator. Mhm.
Really?
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
would make a good one,
Yeah,
though.
I
You would
would.
make a good
I
one.
would. And I even told Ronnie that when we first got together, but his thing was just like you said, well, you catch a cheater, you catch somebody, they're going to threaten your family and come after your family and come after you and da da da. Da. But so that kind of deterred that. But I still, it's in my heart that I would love to do it. I would love to be a private investigator.
Do you know I said that one time at one point that I wouldn't mind being like a private eye or even working in forensics with FBI. I've
Mm-hmm.
actually said two of those things, but you definitely will make a really good private eye. You would.
I think so too. I think so too. Well, I guess that will wrap it up for tonight. If you want to take us out, Holly.
Y'all, we hope y'all have enjoyed this episode of our podcast. We thought it's kind of neat to do and shed some light on what, grosses us out and what, us big bitches ain't gonna do. But y'all, don't
That's
forget,
right.
if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell, because we drop new episodes every Tuesday and every Friday at 11 p.m. And you definitely don't want to miss that. Leave us some comments. Let us know what job you could never do, or that you wouldn't ever want to do. And on that note, y'all,
Right.
we love y'all.
Wait a minute. Make sure also to make note that we are on Spotify now.
Oh,
So
I
if
can
you
start saying
look
that.
for us over there. Yep, look for
Yes.
us over on Spotify. And also email us at bridgetandholly@gmail.com with any questions you may have, ideas for podcasts. And we're trying to do two new series. We've got Ask Bridget and Holly, and we've got Confessions coming up. So if you want to ask us a question and get our advice, then you can do that there, or you
Yep.
can drop us your confession, because we're wanting to start that after the first of the new year.
Yes. So y'all, please utilize that, and you can be um anonymous. You don't have to tell us who you are, but you need us to give you some advice. We the two Southern chicks to do it. We got you.
That's right.
But y'all,
That's
we
it.
love y'all. We hope y'all again have enjoyed this podcast and y'all have an amazing night. Sleep tight.
Love you. Bye.